it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So I've already got my eyes done. I will talk about that and what I use, and I still need to clean them up a little bit. But I thought I would focus on doing my like base makeup, like my foundation, all of that jazz. Ow. Sorry, my shoulder. Ooh, child, getting old. Listen, things that happen at 20 and then they happen at 40s and up, child, it's a whole different experience. If you trip or something, listen, that might be it. That might be it. You're not gonna recover. Look, I'll notice I'm like hanging on to the banister when I go downstairs. And I remember when I just used to pop down the stairs. Not today. No. Shoot. I don't know why nobody be telling you these things. Like, I really feel like we need to have some seminars. I need to know what is going to happen to my body, okay? I need to know what I gotta be prepared for. Like, you can't go, like, 9 o'clock? That should be our bedtime. Now, I'm struggling with sleep still, so that's a whole other story. But some of these college kids be talking about, oh, I went to bed early, like at midnight. Bam. Listen, if I had it my way and my sleep wasn't a mess right now, 9:01, I would be knocked out. Anyway, so yes, child. A heating pad, Tiger Balm, all that stuff has become, like, they're at my bedside table, okay? Because they get used often. Anyway, in other news, I thought I would focus on my base makeup and kind of tell you how I decide what I'm going to use. And so, first thing is I put on sunscreen. Now, I really enjoy the Black Girl sunscreen. I have the matte one. And I use the matte one, but it's a gel, which I prefer. I have oily skin, but I don't know, girl, that's changing too. I have oily skin, and so I like to have things that are matte so that I'm not as oily throughout the day. So I put that on. I remember when I was in high school, you know, I was a cheerleader. I was on varsity cheer. So we went to cheer camp, ma'am. Yes, very bring it on. And it was at UCLA. Now, if you've ever been anywhere near UCLA, you know it's all hills. There is not a flat surface there. And when you go to cheer camp, have y'all been to cheer camp? When you go to cheer camp, you have to cheer all the time. You wake up and you have to cheer on your way to breakfast. You have to cheer on your way down. You have to cheer on the field. You have to cheer going up to lunch. Cheer all the time, every time, right? And so also, the cheer coach bought the same size for everybody. Because we wore like shorts and tank tops. I was about a good foot taller than everybody else. Bigger everything. And darker. Ma'am. So when I got my shorts and my tank top, it looked like a sports bra and some panties. But I still wore it and I still got all blue ribbons, so... yeah. Where it stopped was when she said we all need to have the same makeup. No. Okay? Not doing it. Anyway, so it was so hot. It's the California sun in the middle of summer. And I did wear sunscreen or whatever. And I got burnt. It wasn't as bad as my, the rest of the team. Because they were lighter and child. So I go home and my dad's like, black people don't burn. They do. Anyway. Because you would sweat it off. Anyway, so sunscreen is on. Even though I'm staying inside today, still got to put on your sunscreen even if you're inside. Now, what I tend to do, I tend to lean toward matte foundations, period. But I do have a couple that are more, like, a little glowier. Like, here's one. The Makeup Forever HD Skin Glow. And then I also have the NARS what is this? What is this called? Natural Radiant. So sometimes I feel like being radiant and glowy. Most times I don't. So I typically stick to matte foundations. And so if I'm using a matte foundation, I tend to use a primer that isn't matte. At least now, because you know my skin is changing with age. So right now I have the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Glow, and I don't know that I want to be glowy because I'm doing all telehealth today, so I don't just want to be shining off of the screen, right? So today I'm going to use the Yummy Skin Moisture Repair Balm Serum from Danessa Myricks. Now, initially when I tried this, I was like, this is not doing anything for me. But as I thought about not wanting a matte primer, then this is one that I've been using, especially because her blurring balm, this is going to keep you matte. In my experience, it kind of gets more matte throughout the day. So here is that serum, and just rubbing it, just putting it in different areas. Actually, I'm gonna kind of put it all over my face. You know what? I also feel like I like being out in the sun, right? Like when I have the energy to actually leave my house. And I feel like I haven't been in the sun as much this year. I'm like, I'm looking light-skinned. We were having like a family Zoom. Like our family is really, the extended family is really trying to connect more. And I hop on, my sister's like, why you look so light? Hello, hi, good morning, how are you? Dang. All right. So, I also have this palette. This, I think, I probably got this off of Amazon. But I like to be able to put my foundation on the palette, especially if I have to mix colors. And that is not uncommon, I would say, for a lot of people, but especially folks with darker skin. Just, you know, sometimes people think that we all have an orange undertone for some reason. So the foundations that I am deciding between, there's the YSL Yves Saint Laurent All Hours foundation. I like this one. There's also the Makeup Forever HD Skin. So this is the original one that they came out with. I also have the Haus Labs, what is it called? Like rubbing off. Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. This is my OG. I have two foundations that I've loved from the beginning, and those are the NARS Soft Matte, as well as the CoverFX. This is the old packaging, and then they reformulated it to this. So, there's that. At my job, in my office, I have the Sephora Best Skin Ever. I love that foundation. And then the last ones are the, I mean, there's some other ones over there. The KVD. Is this the Good Apple foundation? I do have to mix these two to get the right foundation. The other thing I have, foundation color. I haven't had to use these in a while, but I do have these. Oh, I'm hungry. Did I eat? Okay. I do have these LA Girl Pro Color Foundation Mixing Pigment. Now, I use the white when I need to lighten a foundation up, and then we've got the yellow and the blue. This yellow makes things a bit warmer, a warmer tone, and then the blue makes like a cooler tone. So I find that these are helpful for not having to buy a billion shades. But yeah. I remember doing my makeup. I can't remember what foundation I used, but someone was highly offended that I had the absolute nerve to put some of this in the foundation to mix a new color. What I find, this one, it stays matte. So in my opinion, it wasn't changing much except for lightening the shade. And even if it did change it to glowy or something, I would rather have a glowy foundation that fits my skin tone. But I was just like, really? That's what you're upset about? Okay. As Kourtney Kardashian said, there are people dying, Kim. Okay, so I think, which one will I use? Maybe I'll use the NARS, because this is like old school. I feel like it's a staple. For several years, this was my top like favorite foundation. Probably still is. I also have 2 shades in this. This one is New Caledonia, which is Deep 2. And then I would sometimes use Minaj, which is Deep 1. But I feel like Deep 2 worked better. We'll see. Now, I would go back and forth between sponges and brushes. Here's the thing. With the sponge, so many people say this, I don't feel like getting up and going to dampen the sponge. I just don't feel like it. So oftentimes, I'm going to just grab a brush. Let me show you the brushes that I like to use. And also, yeah, I don't have time to be, I need to hurry up. Let's see, there are a couple of brushes that I really enjoy for applying foundation. I have synthetic and natural hair brushes. This one. I'm just gonna try to grab. I think these are the main ones that I enjoy in this one. Okay. So, I like the Danessa Beauty brush. It's called their Pinnacle foundation brush. I like it because it makes things easier, like getting into the crevices of my face pretty easily because of that triangular shape. And then I also like this is one of my favorites, the BK Beauty 101. This is a super popular, well, I think it's still super popular. I really like that it has this slant. I just find I can press things in. I can, you know, do this. I like it. The other, I really enjoy this Rose and Ben brush, and this is the C42. I like that their brushes are longer. I don't know why. Excuse me, like in comparison, look at that. Oop. So I like that these are longer. I don't know why I feel more something using this longer brush. Again, here is a slant. Excuse me, and it's a pretty dense brush. Now, another one that has that slant, this is probably the newest brush to me, is the My Yummy Base brush. This is the large angle number 1 from My Kit Co and Danessa Myricks. Again, I really enjoy the slant, just because for me, I feel like it just makes things easier. And then the last one is the Jumbo Base brush from Sonia G. This one's a little different in that it has a different shape. But honestly, whichever one I grab first is what I use. And sometimes I will use the Danessa Myricks Yummy Face 1.0. And then another newer one is the Yummy Face 2.0, which has this teardrop shape, and this is good for when I just want to get something on really quickly. Okay, so those are, I would say those are the main foundation brushes I reach for. Are there any others? I'll let you know. Okay, so I said I'm gonna use the NARS. So what I do, shake it up, and I put a drop, usually like 1 drop on my palette. And then what brush do I want to use? I didn't think about that part. Let's use the Rose and Bend. I mean, but you can see that a lot of the other ones have the same shape. So I typically just tap and, I don't know, I just like put it on. I don't do anything too incredibly special. Oftentimes also I'm rushing like I am now. So I typically just use one pump. If I notice that I have like dark circles or blemishes or something that I want to cover up, if I'm feeling like it, then I will add a little bit more. But I do try to get every last bit of that pump of foundation. We don't waste, okay? We do not waste. I think I want a little bit more because I have a meeting and I just want to look super like boom for it. So do like half a pump or half a squeeze. So I have a couple blims. You know how it is. Okay, so I do that, and then I also just keep the brush around because sometimes if I do some blush or something and it's a bit too much, you can always take whatever remnants of your your foundation on your brush and just go in, and that's how you can tone things down. Sorry if I'm like telling you all these things that you already know, but I just want to explain. So then I typically move on to concealer. I should have grabbed these beforehand. I apologize. Okay, so some concealers that I really like. I really like the Best Skin Ever concealer from Sephora. I would say I also really like the Haus Labs one. Honestly, the fave that I've had for a long while is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot. Like, I hope when they come back, the brand comes back, that they have these, because this probably has eked out as my favorite concealer. The Dose of Colors one I also have. I find that it's a little orange, though. I know Jessa loves this concealer a lot. I have the Fenty one. I think that one is a bit drying. I have the HD Skin from Makeup Forever, so I have quite a bit. And then I did get the Danessa Myricks, her new concealers, and I have the YSL one that I bought in conjunction with the foundation. Now, what I tend to do is I'll get a lighter shade, and then sometimes I'll get a shade that is closer to my skin tone, just because sometimes I don't want to be boom pow bright in your face. And I would say I go like 1 to maybe 2 shades lighter. I don't do a super bright under eye. Oftentimes I just, if I'm looking real special on that day, meaning not, then I want to brighten things up a bit. But I also really like having one that's closer to my skin tone because, I don't know, then it just makes everything kind of just blend a bit better, right? So this HD Skin is closer to my skin tone, and the Haus Labs I think is lighter. So what I'll do, oh, I should probably tell you. This is medium deep neutral 42. So oftentimes I will take the concealer and the lighter one, I'll put kind of closer to, what's this called? Inner corner of my eye. This is the one I will also use if I'm putting some on my forehead, down my nose, here. Kind of the traditional beauty guru thing. And, ooh, hi. Then I'll take one maybe that is more similar color to my skin, and I'll, especially if I want a sharper eye shape, I'll do that. But sometimes I'll use the lighter one too. And then I tend to let my concealer set a little bit. I feel like some of the newer concealers set pretty quickly, but as I do that, I will typically do my brows. And as I do my brows, I'm gonna tell you a story. There's this couple, hold on, let me get their names. Let me get their names, okay? Because I really want your opinion. I'm hungry. What are their names? What are their names? Oh, Nova and Remo Styles. So they were getting married. And you know, planning a weddings are expensive. And I read that like 37% of the cost is like the venue, right? And you know, some people focus more on the wedding than on the marriage. I'm just gonna say. But people love a good wedding, right? So these two, they decided when they were getting married that they were going to charge people to come to their wedding. And I've heard things like this happening more often. It's, you know, like bring your own food. Like things are a-changing, right? But these two decided that they were going to charge people to attend their wedding, and the fee was $333. I can't remember. I know I read it. I think they had a reason for 333. Maybe they just like threes. And they were like, well, people pay to like go to concerts like Beyonce. And first of all, Beyonce tickets ain't that cheap. But I don't have $333 to come to your wedding, okay? I'm not paying $333 to come to your wedding, even if I had it. Like, no, I'm sorry. Listen, I didn't tell you to have this expensive ass wedding. I didn't tell you to do it. And I'm over here, I gotta find something to wear. I gotta get you a gift. I have to get to the venue. I have to sit through the ceremony. Like, my presence is your gift. My presence is that fee, $333. And I'm gonna need you to not talk about what people will go to a concert. I will, okay? I will use that money to go to a concert. Because you know what? I'd rather come back and tell people I went to this concert rather than I went to this wedding. Nah! I wish somebody would. And they were like, the people who really care about us are gonna be there. Girl, could you imagine if you were bringing more than one person? So was it $666 for two? Obviously, we're not friends. Obviously, we're not friends because I'm not coming to your wedding, okay? Now, in terms of blending out concealer, sometimes I'll use the same foundation brush, or I will use something. And let me hurry my behind up. I'll use any like small brush that can get into the crevices of my face. Sometimes it's whatever brush is there. So I'm going to use this my Kitco and Danessa Myricks number 8 brush. And then I just blend. Nothing super special. And then sometimes I'll add a little more. I mean, what I've found is just that, like, your face is your face. like, the makeup is not going to change things on my face. You know what I mean? Like, I have to work with what I have, which I'm fine with, but I'm not necessarily trying to, like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You probably don't, because I didn't finish that sentence. Now, I have gone back to using my Pat McGrath, the setting powder. I have this one in Deep. It's the Skin Fetish. All right. Yeah. And I really like this. And again, I'm gonna grab a brush, girl. Any brush. So sometimes I will put it on with a sponge, or sometimes I'll just grab it on a brush and just tap it into areas where I put the concealer. I don't use this to set my whole face. First of all, it's little ass powder, right? Yeah, no. And I actually go through these. I haven't been using it in a while. No particular reason. Just sometimes I switch over to other things. What do I do next? Next, I then tend to do bronzer or contour. Like, it just depends. I pick a color and I put it on my face. So this is the Danessa Myricks bronzer contour. And this is the shade Deep 2. So you can see I hit pan on that. Now, at this point, I've come to really enjoy this brush here, which is from Rose and Ben, and it is the C40. So I just go into it and then just add it to my face. So it kind of depends on, really it's whatever I reach for and find. So sometimes it's a cream bronzer and sometimes it's a powder bronzer. So for powder bronzer, I tend to use the Colored Rain one, and I have it in Naughty Spice and Mocha Queen. If I just want like a lighter kind of thing and I'm not trying to look like, then I'll use the Naughty Spice. And I really just go in lightly with stuff. For blush, either I use this Pat McGrath blush in, no, Paris Venus. I really like this one. Or I will use one of the many blushes I have from Danessa Myricks. So I'm gonna just go ahead and use this. This brush is, and oftentimes I will use the same brush, but I'm just trying to show you stuff. This brush is the Rose and Ben C41. So I tap into that, and I tend to put my blush a little higher up here. And then I have gone back to using my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and I have the shade 3. Now, sometimes I will use a large brush, or sometimes I will use a sponge. And this is from Danessa Myricks, but there's one from Sephora that I like. Is this called a sponge? What's this called? It's not a sponge. Puff? Yeah, puff. And I will set my face. I find if I do this, put that powder on, and then I spray with this Charlotte spray, my makeup is going nowhere. So I've got that on. Now, thankfully I am at home today because I only have a couple minutes. Now I did use the Divine Rose 1 for my eyes. So I want to blend that a little more. Now, in terms of like brush sets that I like, I really like the BK Beauty brushes. I would say I use BK Beauty brushes daily or whenever I do my makeup. And then so those are synthetic brushes. And I also like Rose and Ben, but BK Beauty is, in comparison, cheaper. And I do like Sonia G natural hair brushes. I just like the shapes. I mean, I can do my makeup with those too if you would like. And if you wouldn't, that is fine as well. This mascara is the Huda Beauty. I think it's called One Coat. Ooh, child. Okay. Do that, and then sometimes I will put a little shadow on the bottom. Again, sometimes I'm just grabbing a brush. This is, what's this? This is a Sydney Grace brush. Now, I got the Sydney Grace brushes before they started putting numbers on them, so I couldn't even tell you what number this is. Child, I'm about to take... I'm gonna be 5 minutes late. Okay, so these are just a couple. I have quite a few red lipsticks. This one is Juvia's Place So Red. And then this is Merlot from Dose of Colors. And then this is actually a gloss from Cosette. And if I'm gonna use a gloss, I tend to wanna make sure I have a lip liner, because sometimes the gloss likes to slide around. But I'm going to, I think I'm gonna use this lipstick. I feel like this is a very like punchy red that I want to tone down just a little bit. Oh my gosh, I swear I had breakfast and I am hungry. I'm going to eat after this session, because obviously I can't eat during the session. I mean, I could, but you know. And I think I will add just a little bit of this. This is the shade Integrity, which I have a lot of. Oh, it smells so good. Hi. Okay, hair up today, or half up, half up. Something, something. And then sometimes I just take a random brush and I just make sure everything is just blended. So, not my most amazing attempt, but here we go. Let me know what you use in terms of your base products. Let me know if you would pay $333 for your friend's wedding. This guy is not. So if you invite me, it better be free. Anyways, I hope that some of this was helpful. And I also hope that you are continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.